Hello everybody. In ANSYS software we have three main steps for simulating every process. Step 1 per processor, step 2 loading and solve, and step 3 post processor. In step 1 or post processor or per processor, we must create geometry of part and weld. After that, defining element type. After that, creating material behavior of the part and weld. After that, define real constant if available. This is especially for elements. And finally, we can creating a mesh or the converting the geometry of the surface, key points and line to element and node. And now I go to ANSYS software and go to preferences and select the thermal. After that, check it. Okay. Go to preference per processor, and for choosing the element type, go to element type, and after that selecting add, edit, slash and edit, delete, and selecting solid 70 as an element for use in this simulation. For creating material behavior, go to material properties, and after that material model, and selecting material model. Material model that's used in this simulation, all variation with the thermal, and all material model variation with temperature, except the two density. This is density of this material model. Specify head for creating, go to thermal and selecting a specify head. And importing this data. For reviewing the variation of this data with the temperature, I selecting graph and now show the variation, the specify head with the temperature. Okay. After a specify head, selecting thermal expansion. This material model, variation with the temperature. I show graph variation of the variation with temperature. I show it for you. Okay. For selecting the expansion, thermal expansion, go to favorites and linear static and selecting thermal expansion. Finally, I create the thermal conductivity for this analyze. Go to thermal and the conductivity and select isometric. And importing data is variation with temperature. And for showing temperature, the variation with temperature, selecting graph, and now I show it for you. In this moment, the material behavior is defining for this simulation. I go to meshing for converting the volume to element and node, selecting mesh and mesh tools, element type that I choose for this simulation is hexa, and after selecting hexa I can have a model with hexa element that show in this picture for you. Now zoom it for you. Before measuring the volume, we must sitting and sit and sizing the line with this option in the mesh tools, and sizing and creating set size of the line for creating a better mesh. Selecting set, and after that selecting line. After creating the mesh, I closing meshing. Now I don't have anything in the per processor step.